Gwen Stefani appears to be celebrating her Italian-American heritage at the home. Even though the all-singer never fails to impress her husband Blake Shelton with her Italian-inspired meals at their ranch, even though they live in Oklahoma. The Voice's previous judges are now married and have 2 kids, Zuma and Gavin Rossdale, who were both members of No Doubt, a daughter named Kingston, and a son named Apollo. In 2021, they tied the knot. When asked who handles the majority of the cooking at home, Blake responded that Gwen does so during a recent episode of the Country Heat Weekly podcast. Who responded, "Man, she's really good at anything Italian." When asked if he had a favorite dish she prepared, he continued by saying that lasagna was his favorite food and that it took her a whole day to make. As he explained Gwen's method for creating homemade pizza, mixing ingredients, kneading dough, letting it rise, and then baking the pizza, he continued to compliment her culinary skills. "I get the impression that she takes this seriously." Following their separate divorces from Miranda Lambert and the Bush frontman, Blake and Gwen started dating in 2015 after originally meeting on The Voice in 2014. During her late 2017 appearance on the show, Jennifer Hudson asked the founder of GXV, "What is something that he does that reminds you of why you fell in love?" And the founder continued to gushing over Blake. She soon thought of an answer. She said, "The thing about Blake is that you will never get through a day without laughing." It's uncommon for pop icon Gwen Stefani and country music sensation Blake Shelton to blend their separate worlds so successfully. The story of the couple's home life is as simple, heartwarming, and wonderful as it is delectable. This book depicts 2 very different worlds, the windswept plains of Oklahoma and the balmy shores of California. Through their recent, rare, and unvarnished look into their daily lives, which are full of laughter, homemade Italian delights, and the kind of love that only gets stronger with time, Blake and Gwen Stefani have been bringing some Italian charm to Oklahoma City. Many were startled and amazed when Blake Shelton disclosed that his wife prepares the family's meals. He did more than just compliment Gwen in his interview with Country Heat Weekly. He virtually left the audience wanting more. When asked who cooks at home, the God's country singer didn't take long to assert that her wife Gwen is the one who typically starts. But it was more than just her culinary prowess that drew him to her. Conversely, it was her method of gourmets that caught his attention. "Man, she is really good at anything Italian," he remarked after praising her proficiency in the language. Is it his favorite? "This isn't your typical lasagna from the grocery store. She does it all day long," he continued. "If it were possible, I would eat this every day." When Blake watches Gwen use her recipes to bring her Italian ancestry to life, there's more at stake than simply the food. Family, as well as the ties, nurturing, and customs that unite us, are essential. She bakes the pizzas after creating her own dough and allowing it to rise in the outdoor oven. He boasted, "She really does this stuff for real," with a smug attitude. It is really realistic to see Gwen Stefani in an apron, making lasagna from scratch as soft country music plays in the background, in a world where the glossy lives of celebrities are frequently perceived as distant. It serves as a continual reminder that love is present everywhere, since even the tiniest deeds can express deep emotions. In this epic story that takes place from the Hollywood Hills to the Heartland, 2 worlds meet. In 2014, Gwen and Blake's romance began on the singing competition The Voice, which was supposed to bring together talented people, but, to everyone's surprise, ended up bringing together 2 people from completely different backgrounds. At first, it seemed like a strange pairing. Blake, the rancher from Oklahoma with a voice like warm whiskey, and Gwen, the scar queen from No Doubt and a resident of California. However, love wrote its own tale, as it frequently does. Blake from Miranda Lambert and Gwen from Gavin Rossdale both had amusing antics that made their divorces less painful. Miranda Lambert owned Blake, while Gavin Rossdale owned Gwen. After 2 friends started exchanging behind-the-scenes stories, their friendship swiftly developed into a romance that neither of them had anticipated, but that was essential to their mutual well-being. The vast stretches of Oklahoma and almost California are something that oddly suits them nicely. In their life, the 2 rely on one another. The sun-drenched afternoons, Blake's old trousers and cowboy boots, and the happiness her 3 sons appear to get from the freedom of the country are just a few of the many things Gwen has frequently told others about their ranch environment. Gwen and Blake are the spark that starts passion and happiness. Gwen was questioned about what reminded her of falling in love with Blake during her appearance on Jennifer Hudson's show last year. She answered the question without hesitation. She was straightforward in her response, made a significant declaration. "Your everyday life would not be the same without laughter." One word sums up the essence of their relationship. The foundation of their marriage is laughing. the kind that helps reduce stress, fosters resilience, and elevates routine days. Regardless of their notoriety, wealth, or even musical training, this is the fact. He just makes you happier every single day, she replied. His inner kindness and tolerance are really admirable. Their public interactions show their generosity. For instance, Blake is always there to assist Gwen at her GXVE beauty events, and Gwen is happy to support Blake's comeback to the Honky Tonk Tour. When they are together, they are each other's biggest admirers. The miracles that followed their acquisition by each other. Gwen Stefani's own words best capture her amazing journey to this point in her life. In both her podcast and an episode of Skinny Confidential Him, she characterized the sequence of events that started with her first meeting with Blake as a series of miraculous turns, a timeline characterized by unanticipated favors. She said that the first miracle she had ever encountered was the process of getting pregnant with Apollo. Step 3 was definitely meeting Blake, and Step 2 was competing on The Voice. After experiencing celebrity, sorrow, and self-reinvention, the person discovered a tremendous sense of stability in falling in love with Blake. It was no use making big motions. It was more about feeling respected, protected, and appreciated. Blake turned into the pulsing heart of the small village that gave her a sense of home again, the rock in the middle of her storm. When it comes to food, family, and striking a balance, the kitchen appears to be the focal point of their house. Blake has undoubtedly spent years perfecting his grilling techniques, but it really makes a difference when his Italian cuisine brings back fond memories. She puts her heart and soul into every dish, from the delectable pasta sauces boiling on the stove to the fresh herbs picked from their garden. Her fans have frequently gotten glimpses of her creations on social media, which include warm, freshly baked bread, heart-shaped pizzas, and enormous salads dripping with olive oil. However, it's noteworthy that her meals don't really contribute to her ability to perfection. They are more appropriate for the home. As they move forward with their Apollo, Kingston, and Zuma have watched their mother throw dinner parties with friends of all ages since they were young. Blake took on the role of stepfather with humility and dedication, and he has thoroughly embraced it. He has made it plain that being a proud part of Gwen's family is one of his greatest achievements. Whether you're picking up students from school, enjoying Sunday dinner, or just lounging at the ranch, there's the ideal balance of rustic charm with glitzy California flair. The couple has discovered beauty in juggling their lives between Oklahoma and California, despite the apparent complexity of their existence. They own a vast ranch in Oklahoma with undulating hills, fishing ponds, and serene porches where it seems like time has stopped. She loves simplicity there, eschewing her once beautiful red lips in favor of recording sessions and gardening. But she never stops allowing Blake's impact to be seen. Wherever she goes, she frequently shares pictures of Blake caring for their crops or remarks about how peaceful Oklahoma sunsets are. This is a drastic shift from her time with No Doubt. Love in every season. This couple's love story is always changing, not because it's flawless, but because it's genuine. Despite juggling busy professions, raising teenagers, and dividing their time between two locations, they have managed to maintain their respect for what's really important to them. Blake has repeatedly voiced his shock at the way his life has turned out. He was happy living alone for many years, taking care of his ranch and playing music. However, after meeting Gwen, everything was different. He suddenly finds himself used to cooking real Italian lasagna, spending time in laughing kitchens, and hosting family dinners. Gwen found serenity in the soothing rhythms of the South after a life dominated by glamour and prominence. The kind of rhythm that, like a hot, homemade casserole, turns cooking into a kind of love and meditation. Their loyal fan following is curious about their motivations. Blake and Gwen are so well known because of their talent and apparent sincerity, which is why fans adore them. Whether they're making fun of each other on The Voice, sharing private images of themselves on social media, or simply talking about their favorite meals, it doesn't matter. Their sincerity is striking when contrasted with other members of the celebrity elite. Their dynamic of humor, compassion, and respect for one another serves as a reminder that true love doesn't require perfection. Rather, it flourishes when others accept it. As Gwen's laughter fills their kitchen and Blake's voice reverberates over Oklahoma, the entire world listens. They are a couple who have managed to accept both the strength of their love and their individuality, an old recipe for happiness and love. At the core of everything, including the family, the food, and the renowned individuals, is a really basic reality. Like Blake's passionate remarks and Gwen's homemade lasagna, which are metaphors for their love story, it requires time, patience, and sincere concern for one another. The life they have created together is evidence that two individuals from entirely different backgrounds can come together to create something greater than the sum of their parts. A new chapter in Gwen and Blake's love story, which combines the Italian and American spirits, is added every time they get together to eat, joke, or unwind at the ranch.